drywall is going high tech. It's interesting because I've been in the business for over 30 years. So it really things have evolved. People think, oh, has drywall really changed at all? And it's interesting because it has changed dramatically. There are a lot more different types of drywall available. When I first started, there was moisture resistance, well, there was some abuse resistant, regular, half-inch drywall, and fire resistant. There was basically 3 different types, and all of them came in 4-foot heights. Variety of length, 8s, 10s, 12. You could get some 16s back then, but that was pretty much a special order. But really now, most suppliers are going to have it all. They're going to have 8s, 10, 12s, 14s, 16s. They're going to have the 54-inch high drywall, which is a huge thing. So let's say this is just going to be your wall. And let's say it's just maybe a 14-foot long wall. Well, if it's 9 foot high by 14 feet, back in the old days, we might be able to get 14-foot drywall. So now we're going to have one 14-foot seam, right? But since it's 9 foot high, we're going to have another foot piece someplace. So a lot of people would put that foot strip right in the middle of the wall. And why would they put it there? Because it's convenient for the taper. It's at a nice height. It's about this high off the floor. I can work my tools, tape it. But one of these seams is a butted seam. A butted seam is not a recessed seam. It's very difficult to hide. So right in the middle of this beautiful wall, we have a 14-foot long butted seam. So you know where I would prefer that? I would like it to be down here, a foot off the floor. Why? Because I can hide that. That's never going to show. That could be a 14-foot butted seam, but it's in a good location. But it's not going to be a butted seam. It's going to be a beveled edge seam. We're going to go with 4 foot here, another 4 foot, and then a 1 foot piece there. But the problem with locating the seam right there is I've got to crawl along the floor in order to hide it. So what they came up with was 54-inch drywall. So now we have a wall. Let's call this wall 13 feet long. 13 feet by 9 feet. We buy a 14-foot piece of 54-inch drywall. That's all we have on that wall is 14 feet of seam. You know what I've seen done? On that same wall, they only bought 12 foot long by 4 foot high drywall. So they've got a seam 4 foot down, they've got a butted seam. Then they go with another run, 12 foot long, butted seam. So 35 feet of seam on one wall compared to 13. It's crazy. You're never going to hide that. It's never going to be a good job. Just like putting that double seam right in the middle, you're never going to be able to hide it. And ultimately, it's about the customer and meeting their expectations. And that's why you're going to want to make sure you use the right type of drywall. And all I'm really talking about here is lengths of the panels and the height of the panel. Wide variety of that.